300 years ago, an ancestor of the powerful Clark family, the wealthiest in all of the capital, passed by the city's abandoned baby tower and made a careless, cruel remark. Girls are useless. They deserve to die. That one sentence cursed every male descendant of the Clarks for generations. Since then, every man in the family had undergone a horrific transformation on their 25th birthday. They were growing full breasts and even a womb, as if their bodies were turning female from the inside out. There was only one way to break the curse, though. It was to marry a woman with the rare, curse-breaking blessing. My sister and I were both born with that blessing. In my previous life, Tristan Clark came to our home asking for my sister's hand in marriage, but I saw through his real motive and fought with everything I had to stop it. In the end, he was forced to marry me instead. On the night of our wedding, my sister left behind a suicide note and jumped off a cliff. She claimed I stole the man she loved. Because of that, my parents called me cruel, and Tristan hated me with every fiber of his being. On the 7th day after my sister's death, he had me tied to a helicopter like a kite and dangled me in the sky. I cried and begged him, I saved your life. Please, just let me go. His face twisted with rage. He roared, the one I wanted to marry was Bianca. Even if you weren't in the way, she could have saved me, too. You ruined everything. You killed her. Now go to hell. Then he cut the rope. I fell from the sky, shattered on the ground, nothing but a pile of broken flesh. But when I opened my eyes again, I was back on the very day Tristan came to ask for a curse-breaking bride. This time, I want to see for myself how Bianca would save him without her so-called blessing. Dad, Mom, I want to marry her, Tristan declared, pointing to my sister in her white dress as she walked gracefully into the room. As he spoke, he shot me a threatening look, his eyes full of warning. In that moment, I understood. He had been reborn, too. My sister tucked a strand of hair behind her ear and asked sweetly, Mom, Dad, who are they? Our parents smiled and proudly introduced her to the Clark family. I couldn't help but sneer, as if they hadn't been sneaking around together all along. Now she was pretending to be innocent? Tired of watching them play their game, I stood to leave, but Tristan's voice stopped me. He stared at me with contempt and said, Eloise, don't even try that nonsense again about how only you can break the curse. I'm never marrying you. You're ugly and pathetic, so just give it up. His parents scolded him, but he only raised his voice louder. Dad, Mom, that curse is just a stupid rumor. It's been 300 years. Why would it still matter? Mr. Clark smacked the back of his head and barked, you fool. The only reason none of us mutated is because we've always married women with the curse-breaking blessing. Your 25th birthday is next week. Tristan, we can't delay anymore. Mrs. Clark's eyes were red with worry. That's true, son. I'm a curse breaker myself. That's why your father married me. We've searched for over 20 years and finally found 2 girls with the same blessing. Please, don't be reckless now. But Tristan pointed stubbornly at my sister and repeated, then I'll marry her. She has the same blessing. But I'll never marry Eloise. If you force me, I'd rather die right here and now. I laughed coldly to myself. So this whole little scene was just a performance to shut everyone else up. In my previous life, after he announced he wanted to marry my sister, I stepped up and said clearly in front of everyone, he can't marry my sister. She can't save him. Only I can. Tristan had exploded, yelling that I was punching way above my weight. My parents had doubted me, too, as they always favored my sister anyway. Only Mr. Clark and Mrs. Clark had taken me seriously. After a private discussion, they had decided to force Tristan to marry me, thinking it was better to risk the wrong bride than lose him entirely. But they never knew the truth. Because my sister and I were twin sisters, linked by blood, I could see a secret no one else could, something even she didn't know. Yes, she had the same blessing on the surface. But if he married her, she couldn't save him, but rather destroy him. In my past life, after my sister's suicide, I tried to tell my parents the truth about her secret, but they refused to listen. They even called me cruel and heartless, and cut all ties with me. I tried to tell Tristan, too, but instead of listening, he tied me to a helicopter and let me fall to my death. I was nothing more than a splatter of blood and bones by the time I hit the ground. It wasn't until my last breath that I realized the truth.